Morning, folks. Hope you're okay. Just type in if you can and let me know who you are. Hope you're okay. Hey, Graham, you all right? I'm very well, thanks, Graham. But I say I've not been avoiding the fridge much in the lockdown. I'm putting about a stone. I hope you're okay. Keeping fit. Graham, can you see and hear me okay from here? If you can, just type it in, just say everything's okay, please. Hiya, Dom. Thank you. Hi, Gus. I'm very well, thank you. All good. Hi, Baz. Afternoon, Mike. You okay? Oh, great stuff. Thanks, Graham. Hope you're all okay. Hope it's sunny wherever you are. Whereabouts in the country are you all watching from? Where are you from, Graham? Where are you living? Dom, Gus, whereabouts are you all? Harwich, Northumberland, Kirkcaldy, Halifax. It's never sunny in Halifax. So it's Is that better? I've moved the computer closer to the source of the Wi-Fi. Is that better? And when you say a few technical issues, what is it breaking up? Oh, right, okay. I'm just calling you now, Will. Just make sure we're okay. I mate. Okay, thanks now. Super. Okay, cheers. All right, let me move my balls into position and then get the. All right, well, a very good morning to you. The Taliban got a signal in caves. I love it. Beautiful. Alrighty. Well, thanks ever so much for tuning in, On-Course Foundation members. It's great to have you all. Let's get my notes up. It's great to have you all here. I do appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you get something out of it. It's very helpful for me when you send videos to me on richard.harrison@roehamptonclub.co.uk, or send them to Will. He'll forward them on to me, and I can use that as content. So it gives us a very realistic live session then together. I want you to stay in touch. We're running the sessions every Wednesday, well, most Wednesdays and Saturdays now. I think we'll get into that routine now, those 2 dates being our times. And on Saturday, we're going to run a session with OCF member Mike Brown, who's actually a touring professional. So of the various levels of tour golf that are out there, Mike's on the third sort of rung, really, so doing very, very well. He was an amateur golfer when I first met him, and he's learnt an awful lot about the game. And it's a tough trade. You know, playing for a living is a very, very tough way of making a living. But Mike's out there now competing. He's doing well. He won a tournament last year. And so what we're going to do, Mike and I, we're going to run a session for you of a Q&A on Saturday. And we're going to run it via Zoom, which means we can all see each other. We can interact face-to-face. And I'll run it via the live YouTube as well, so I can make swings as well. And it's a better picture on YouTube than it is over Zoom. So if you've got any thoughts on questions that you'd like me to ask Mike or to sort of expand on, because I'll be asking him the questions, he'll be giving the answers, and I'll give it from a coach's perspective as well. So you see it from a player, a below-knee amputee, I think it's right leg for Mike, and from a coach's perspective, we can sort of put all that into the mix. I'm still laughing at your message there, Mike. The Taliban got my signal in a cave. I love it. So Saturday at 10:30, that's the On-Course Foundation Q&A with Mike, and I'll be talking a bit about swing as well. Learning from each other is a really valuable way of improving the game, and I think you're very good at it, actually. When we're on the range, Alistair and Di, we're watching you. You're very good at talking to each other and explaining things to each other. And oftentimes amateurs can explain something in the way an amateur understands. It doesn't have to be technically correct or technically perfect. It's just a good way of getting the information across. And so when we are, hi Karen, hi Ges, nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So when you are together, you can learn from each other. And that's why the session on Saturday, the Q&A, will be very valuable for you. Alrighty, so just to let you know, I measure my swing when I'm doing my shots in the indoor studio, when I've got my computer up there. And I've lost about 3% of my swing speed over the lockdown period. And that's just to not hitting balls and not being out there, not carrying a club. So I do recommend that you get out in your gardens and swing if you can, and get out, even in your front room, get the club in your hands. You know, keep the club moving. This is a tremendous way of keeping your golf strength up. Keep making swings out there. I've had quite a few videos sent from you guys, and those swings that you're making, even though you're not hitting a proper golf ball into a normal environment, they keep the swing strong. Even me, when I'm swinging most days here, I'm not hitting as many balls as I would do ordinarily. I've lost 3% of my swing speed. Now, I should be able to get it back through hard work, but I want to get it back through hard work, obviously. But I'm going to limit that damage the more I'm moving the club around my body. So during the sessions, if you can take your iPad outside or whatever computer you're watching on, it can work outside. Keep moving. You know yourselves, especially the guys who've got injuries, you know, getting stiff is quite a problem if you're sitting static too much. And so the whole idea about this session is that we're learning something, but also you're exercising a little bit and you're keeping yourself fit for golf. Alrighty, so I want to talk today about the swing shape from this angle here. There's two dimensions to a golf swing that we look at it from for the most part. The first is face on, and that's where we see the circular arc of the swing. I spend a lot of my time in the sessions talking about this angle here, what we call down the line. Down the line, we want the ball to fly on. And today we're going to focus on this side here, this part of the swing. Now we often talk about the swing being an oval shape or an arc around the body, around here. And again, this is going out to Jes's partner, Karen. What I want to talk about today is applicable to beginners as it is to very good players. I've got a session, I've got a video online which I'm going to show you shortly, which came through from Baz Haldane. And Baz is a 5 handicapper. And that's on the borderline of being a professional standard player. Now, for an amateur golfer, that's very, very... good morning, Chris. Nice to see you. Now, that's a real achievement to get to that level there. So the stuff I'm talking about today is going to be relevant to beginners as much as it is to very, very good players, because these are the fundamentals of the game. Now, when we coach people, Alistair, Dye, and myself, all of us, we look at the fundamentals and make sure they're in place, but then we have to fill the gaps between the fundamentals with the quirks that we all have in our swings and our body shape and what have you, and also the injuries or disabilities which you may have. And so we look at ways of sequencing that together for you, but we work around the fundamentals. Now, I want to make a special mention to Caron, because she's a Ward Sister on the NHS, and the outpouring of love and adoration for the NHS is totally justified, obviously, and certainly in my area, people have been going absolutely wild about the difficulties you're facing and how much support there is. And the last time I saw that support was when, we were sort of at war overseas, and that was for the soldiers and the servicemen. And so you're one and the same, public servants to do a duty which is incredible. And so for people like me on the other side of what you all do, we're so proud of you, all of you. And then for someone like Caron to go home to Ges and have to look after him at the end of a working day, I mean, that is heroics beyond the realm of heroics. Now, you can tell I'm being a big hero here today and taking a mick out of Ges. He's about 7 foot tall, and thankfully he's 250 miles away. But anyway, God bless you, Caron. I hope you enjoy the tuition, and I hope the stuff that I talk about today is relevant to beginners as much as it is to 5 handicap, like I say, semi-professional standards. So we're going to talk about the symmetry of the swing from this angle here. Now, it's very easy to think of the golf swing as a sort of arc around the body, but it's not quite a symmetrical arc. And that's because we don't stand to the ball in an equal position. This side of the body, the glove hand, is higher than this side of the body here. And that makes the swing slightly asymmetric, different shapes. Now, the reason why we wear a glove on the left hand, Caron, we only wear one glove, is that the glove hand has actually got total contact with the handle. It's the only, of the hands, it's the only one which does. You see, so it's totally on the handle there. The right hand doesn't. But they have to work as a unit together to create all the power in the swing. So when I'm setting myself up here, glove hands on the handle, right side comes down here. To see that the swing isn't symmetrical, if I swing the club back halfway here, you'll see it's horizontal to the ground. As I swing through, it's horizontal to the ground, but much higher. You see? So when I'm horizontal to the ground, that side's lower than that side. That's simply because the left arm and the right arm aren't in the same position here. If I started like this, the swing would be symmetrical. Now, what I'm starting with here sounds like, well, who cares about that? But it also goes into something which I want to talk today about to Dom and also to Baz about how the right arm works, how the right arm works in the swing. It's a really important point, this, for eliminating the typical bad shot in golf, that one there. So as I set myself up here, I'm in this position here now. As I make my swing and turn my body back or pull my body backwards, the club swings around my body backwards and forwards. And that's how we get this sort of circular shape around the body. From this angle here down the line, and this is the real key point now for you, Baz, and also for you, Dom. As I set myself up here, my right arm actually pulls in. It's a very difficult thing to do this because the right arm has to stretch underneath the glove hand here, but it also has to tuck in. Because this tucked in position here replicates and increases the likelihood of a correct hitting position. So my right arm tucks in. So let me just show you some reference points here. Okay, so this is one of my favorite photographs, this. I found it on Twitter recently. Now, if you look at all those pictures there, it's the world's top 10 players. Okay, and it's a really surprising picture there. Have a good look at it. Work your way through the top and then the bottom, and you have a look, and you see some really surprising things there. Now, they're only about 1/10 of a second or whatever it is away from hitting the golf ball there. So what is that position? They're taking the club, and it's in this position here. So the club head is behind them, the hand is in front, the glove hand's in front of them, and their right hand is in this position here. Now for you, Karen, it's one of the great learning parts of golf I'm going to show you in a second. Golf is like skimming a stone, throwing something like that. You wouldn't skim a stone that way, you'd skim it this way. So when we throw something like a frisbee or something from our side, the right side collapses and folds and then throws out this way. So that exercise I'm just showing you there, and I'll come back to that picture I was showing you a second ago, has always been the golf swing. So if you want to fix an image in your head, if you're, like I say, a 5 handicap or a complete beginner, that's how the golf swing really works. We throw something. Now, of course, at the end of my right hand is the club itself, and I'm creating power by throwing it this way. My body moves out of the way, this right side folds in, and I whip the way through. So, for you, Baz, when I was looking at your swing, in fact, I want to show you your swings. It's a good looking swing. And when I got your email through, I had to watch it, half a dozen times at least, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, there's not an awful lot wrong in that. Now, I'm looking then I'm looking at the swing and I'm thinking, well, there's not a lot to change about that. Have a look at this, guys. This is like I say, this is 5 handicap. Now, this is on the cusp of a professional standard golf ability. And even at that level of swing, Baz is looking to improve, and he's got an error in his swing. And it's because his right side is a very common error. His right side is locked like this at address, and you're doing the same thing in your video, Dom, funny enough. So tuck it in a bit, and that will encourage a hit from here, the inside path. Now, if I hit the golf ball from here, how can it go there? It won't do it. It'll fly with this shape, like a tennis player coming over like this. You get a draw spin on the ball. So when I hit my ball here, I'm not trying to hit it straight. I'm trying to hit from the inside path here. And this exercise of skimming stones is actually the motion of a golf swing. We take the right side, we put it behind us. So the skimming stone action is a brilliant way of truly learning how to swing the club. Now, like I say, when you're at home in the lockdown period, these exercises and these drills are super, super important, and they work. The reason why the tour professionals do things like that, that's a 60-year-old photo of that, or whatever it is. The reason why they do that is that they're trying to rehearse a motion which they can then feed into their swing. So, this is McIlroy. Again, look at his right elbow tucked in there. And the club is way behind him. And that's how we start pulling the ball, Baz. Or even putting a slice on the ball. Let me find a different picture for you now. Again, there's one of the greatest players of all time, Lee Trevino. Look at his right elbow, really tucked in behind him. Now you'll notice in that picture there, the club shaft is running all the way through his right elbow. Now this is a bit more technical. This is not sort of beginner's thing to think about. When we talk to beginners, we're trying to get the same message across, but in a far simpler idea. So for a beginner or an early golfer, we think about just skimming the stone. As you get more advanced, we then look at this position here, and you can see the club shaft is going through the forearm. It's right in the glove, and that's pointing up to their chins. The right forearm is bent at the elbow, and it's running all the way through that. The shaft is running way through that elbow. So the right elbow and the shaft of the club are in line at this point here. So they're swinging the club down, because what happens on the way down is that the right elbow and arm extend to form a straight line, and that's simple physics. It's like a chopping action. Bang! If I align those levers there, now it's to chop something, I create all that lovely power. It's the same in a golf swing, but we stand to the side of the golf ball. So as I swing the club down from here and throw, they align. So what does that mean to you when you're doing your rehearsals? Get your swing moving first of all, and as you swing down here, check and look at that position. Your hands should be just in front of the body, and your club shaft and club head way behind you here. If you can look at it in a mirror, you'll then see that the club shaft right forearm and the right elbow are all aligned. Not above it. That's what you're doing, Baz. You'll never get it below there anyway. It's just impossible. So up to here, down to here. Then check that position in the mirror. And if you can work on that, you're then 1/100th of a second away from hitting the golf ball from the same position as the tour professionals. Now think about that. You know, these guys are making millions of dollars a year, and they're all doing something which is clearly the same. So that's the exercise for this week. I want you to really work on that. Get yourself in a position where you swing up, you swing down to here, and then from there, your glove hand has to turn to there. And that's a hit. If you do that, see my club face there? It's dead square. It's going to bang in the back of the ball. No more slices for you, Baz. Here, look at it in the mirror, and then square that hand over, like that. So what I've done there is I've given you a very brief look at how the world's best players move the club around their body. Now, I talk an awful lot about absolutes and variables in the golf swing, and there's certain stuff which we all do differently. But if the world's best players are all getting themselves in a position which looks virtually identical, then it tells you what they've worked out. And they've worked it out, it's just pure physics. If I misalign, and I keep talking about levers, the engineers amongst you, simple levers create loads of power. You take the hammer, you're going to hit straight on the top of that nail. Now, a golf ball sits at an angle to us, but we're still trying to get the hammer to smack the back of the nail. And that's a golf swing. So I'm up here, I don't swing this way and chop down, I swing around the body. And for you, Karen, great exercise. If you actually want to learn the game, great exercise for you is to do the helicopter drill or the windmill drill. If we stand vertically and swing our arms around the body, and that's how helicopters, rotators would work. For the golf swing, we tilt. But look at how the rotators work around my body. They don't get loose or sort of come out of sequence. They swing around the body at that angle. And so really learning the game, for anybody, learning the game, these sorts of drills are fantastic for getting you to get the feeling of the overall general shape of the swing. And then when you're together with Di, Alistair and myself, we can start putting you in positions which put it all together for you and sort of make the swing a bit more personal. I do hope as well one day, the On-Course Foundation may just expand into doing NHS key workers and what have you. You just never know, do you? Okay, let me just... Okay, so just going to expand on that left arm, right arm thing. This is all about arm work today. How about how we position the arms to work? So when I talk about everything working together, every part of the body moves in a golf swing, which is actually extremely fortunate for the On-Course Foundation. Because we've done an awful lot of learning, Alistair, Di and myself, and we've been giving you lessons over the years on how we work around your disabilities. Because everything moves in the golf swing. If you're missing a limb or you've got an injury to one part of your body, we can work around it. If the game was entirely played with one limb and you have an injury to that limb, then we can't teach the game if it was a different sport. But every part of the body is engaged in the golf swing, so we can therefore teach you how to play the game, because we know we can adapt and also sort of overuse one part of your body if the other side of the body isn't going to work for you. So, left arm super important, and that has to stay straight. Right arm super important because it bends in here. And if the arms swing back, that long, powerful lever in the left arm, the shaft of the glove arm, is supported by the folding or the bending of the right arm. And that's why I'm looking at your swing, Dom. If you look back at what you're doing, when you set yourself up, you'll see your arms are straight out like this. You see a bit of bend in here now, and you're going to start feeling this swing with the club head more behind you than over here, because you're swinging it great, you're swinging miles better. Now, an exercise I worked on with Dom through his video was to get him to coordinate his motion a lot better. And again, this is a fantastic exercise for you. favourites this, and it's a very old-fashioned exercise. Instead of holding the club as you would do ordinarily, bring it up, point it into your tummy, and then just make a few motions backwards and forwards, and you'll start to see how my body turn and my hands and arms all link. A poorly coordinated swing, either the body moves first or the hands and arms move away. A well-coordinated swing, everything moves back and through together. And that's why good-looking swings can look slow, but create a lot of power because they are coordinated. So that exercise there has worked wonders for you, Dom. I can't believe the difference there. Very hard to see it and feel it yourself, but I can see a huge improvement there. And if I couldn't, I'd be working on a different drill with you. What I want you to do now is really tuck that right elbow in. And when you're all at home now, you can all have a look at yourselves in the mirror and make sure your right elbow's tucked in. We know the good players do it, so we have to do it. Alrighty. Hi, Mike. Nice to see you. I was talking a moment ago about the Q&A we're going to do on Saturday, and hopefully we'll get some questions sent in from the On Course Foundation. And like I said to you on the messages the other day, we're going to try and bring together your experiences, stuff you wish you could do differently. You might have changed one or two things if you had the information to hand. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. And then you can explain the route that you're on, the journey that you're on, how you prepare for the game, how you keep yourself fit for golf, and also how you can work around your disability. Because am I right in saying you're right leg below knee, aren't you? I was just saying a moment ago how we as coaches, we can adapt to what we talk about anyway, because everything moves in the golf swing. Every part of the golf swing is active, so we can use all parts of the body if you've got to struggle with one of your limbs or what have you. Okay, so let's have a quick look here. Left above knee, wow, I didn't realise that. So left above knee, and that makes it harder. When it's above the knee, you lose the flexibility in the joint. So to have got to professional standard, Mike, is an enormous achievement. It's an incredible achievement. You're doing so well. So it'd be great to find out how you've sort of worked around that and what difficulties you've found that you've had to overcome. I'd like to see with all of you. We will try our damnedest, Di, Alistair, and myself, to work with whatever you've got, whatever your injuries are. And 9 times in 10, you actually enjoy the game better, and you sort of play. Start to play better. All right. So, any questions that you've got for me? When I do it, I feel like I lose control. So, what was that relating to, Tom? You said when you feel like you're losing control. Oh, you can remember it. So when I'm saying to work on your swing as well, losing control is an interesting thing because, first of all, there's what is true control? True control of a golf ball is sending it on a journey it doesn't want to go on. That ball would much rather stay there than get a great big smack at the back of it. So real control is giving that ball a hell of a bang and sending it on target. Now, in order to keep control and to control the ball, we can't over-control. When I took the right arm, 90% of the time it's blocked straight right. I'll come to that in a second. When true control is letting go of control. Now, that sounds like a sort of, a bit of a deep, mystical sort of statement there. But true control is not trying to squeeze the handle too much. We're trying to hold the club so it swings freely, and that provides a lot of power into the back of the ball. So when you say you're losing control in a swing, the rehearsal swings when you practice aren't going to immediately be perfect. It will not be perfect for the first swings. So what I do is when I'm rehearsing something is keep going through the motions of rehearsing very slowly. Try and feel what I'm seeing and see what I'm feeling when I'm making the swing. Now I know Tiger Woods has always practiced his driver like this. You watch this here. My normal drive goes about 270 yards. Now I've just hit that off target, obviously. I've just hit that, 50 yards or so. But I'm working on my swing very slowly. And it's a tremendous exercise that, because quite frankly, anybody can go to a driving range, hit balls, and swing super quickly. Swinging slowly is real control. So when you're working on something, you feel like you're losing control, you're working to hit the ball as far as possible, get the most efficient strike as possible, and so work on it slowly over time, get yourself in position. So Baz, when he took the right arm in, the shot is blocked straight right. So that leads into the sequence. Once the right arm's tucked in, you come down here, and what I said about the glove hand. So my right arm's tucked in. From here, I've got that glove hand through a massive amount of rotation. So your rehearsal swings now should be down to here, right elbow tucked in. We know the world's best players in this, so you have to be too. From there, what happens is that. Look at my glove hand. It goes from here to here. A huge amount of movement in that hand. And that's the sequence of the swing. Get yourself down here, and then from there, get that hand really moving around. If you think about the right hand folding over, that's fine. And that's what stops the ball flying straight right. I'll do it close up here. You can see the T-peg. So once I get to here, and my elbow's down here, now look at the T-peg. It's gone from there to there. That's a massive range of motion. If I come in and my T-peg looks like that, I will block it straight right, because that's where my hands are pointing. The ball's going to fly that way. If I rotate, so again, in close-up now, he obviously thought about it in his right hand. And that's going back to that skimming action there, the skimming stones action. So when you're doing these motions here, it's all about isolating them and then getting them into a sequence, folding them all into the swing itself, putting all the ingredients together. Now, my job is to try and sort of give you the general picture of what a golf swing is, what those movements are. And then once we've done that, get those movements all to come together by us, Di, Alistair, and myself, putting in the little bits and bobs which will sequence it all for you. But if the general shape of the swing, if the right elbow's tucked in there and we throw on the way through, if that's what the tour professionals are doing, then we have to follow suit with that as well. And that's why you can work on that in the garden. Okay, so any more questions about what we've talked about today, or any more questions that you might have about anything involving the game? Karen, do you have any questions? Anything which you think is a bit of a mystery about the game? While I'm waiting, I'll hit a couple of shots. You can let me know. So again, when I make my rehearsal swing, I'm up here and down here in that hitting position. And I keep rehearsing that hitting position. Now you might think, well, is it not logical to start the swing from there? It is logical, but it's the same reason why we don't throw from here. We make a big action up here, so we create some momentum and a throw, and then we throw from this position here. Same as a javelin throw. They wouldn't throw from here, they would throw from here. It's big, long, wide position. If I make my rehearsal swing, they're slow, so I can feel them. And when you're rehearsing at home, make the swing very slow. It's very difficult, very hard to do. All right, folks, so if there's no more questions, I'll see you all on Saturday. I'll wait another minute in case there's any question you want to ask. So we'll see you all on Saturday. And that's when Mike and I will be doing our Q&A. So any questions, send either me an email, richard.harrison@roehamptonclub.co.uk, or send one to Will at the On-Course Foundation. And then we'll go from there. But keep working, keep sending me the videos of your swings. They're really helpful for me. And I really enjoy doing it. I love working with you guys. You know that. So does Di, so does Alistair, everyone who works at the On-Course Foundation. We're so proud to be involved with you. It's an amazing thing. And what I was saying to Will today is that we'll continue the live On-Course Foundation tuition through the winter time. Whilst we won't be together for obvious reasons with the weather and what have you, in the off period, we will get together on a regular basis. And we'll work on our swings together. And work it all out. Absolutely right, Jess. Well, thanks very much, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you all stay fit and healthy, and I'll see you in a few days. So thanks again, and God bless you all. Cheerio.